You're listening to U Radio. Let your voice be heard. My name is Ryan Funk. We're on U Talk, a program dedicated to diversity, highlighting native-born and new Canadians' cultures and experiences. Success is something that deserves to be celebrated, and there's no better example than the successes of Elton Hubner. Elton is a journalist, photographer, owner of Eyes Multimedia, and now an award-winning filmmaker with his passion project, The Fit Generation. Born in Brazil to European immigrants, Elton has visited dozens of countries and has been living in Canada for the past 10 years. Looking at your history, you've been involved in journalism, photography, videography, and now filmmaking. I guess how have these experiences changed as you've moved to different countries?
Well, the great thing about this is when I was 15, I knew what I wanted to do. And I guess I was so fortunate to know that so early in my life, because I knew I wanted to become a storyteller. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure how that was going to happen, whether it would be online, in print, in radio, writing books. I didn't know, but I knew I wanted to learn about other people, about their lives, and share those stories with the world. So first, I studied journalism, and I was so sure that what I wanted to become was a war correspondent. I traveled to many countries around the world when I was between 16 and 20. By the age of 20, I had been to 25 countries and I learned 6 languages. So I was ready to become a war photographer, a war journalist. And then things changed. I got older and I thought, maybe one day I will want to have a family, to own a house and see my kids grow up safely with their dad next to them. So yeah, things changed. And I was also very passionate about image photography and video, more and more video. And there was a point in my life when I was getting my master's degree in Berlin, Germany, about 11, 12 years ago, when I realized print journalism is dying. And I think what technology enables us to do nowadays it's undeniable that video is the future of communication. So that's when I decided to, I was coming back to Canada with my master's degree, and that's when I decided to dedicate full time to video production.
25 different countries, 6 different languages. What is adjusting to life when you're going from country to country like?
That's a good question. I don't think much about it. And also, when I started traveling, that was such a long time ago, which sounds weird for someone who's only 39. Mm-hmm. But I traveled to, let's say, 30 countries when before I was 25. And you are constantly changing when you are a teenager, a young adult, and constantly adapting to. Mm-hmm. So I think that also is related to how I found home in Canada. Mm-hmm. It happened that when I was traveling around the world, I was always seen as a foreigner. Mm-hmm. When I was in Italy, even though I was getting my Italian passport and was learning Italian, people always considered me German Brazilian. When I was living in Germany, studying there in high school or in university and working, I was Brazilian or Italian. Yeah. And in Brazil, I was always a fish out of the water. I was always not feeling home in Brazil. And when I came to Canada, even though I had been to 30 countries and lived in 5, I felt home immediately. It was the first day in Canada when I decided to immigrate. I just realized, this is it. I found the place that I have been looking for all this time.
Mm-hmm. So do you find there's challenges at all? You talked a little bit about identity. When you're moving all over the place, people recognize you as different things or from different areas. How do you stick to who you are to your core?
It's always about what unites people where you are, right? What their identity is. And timing is also important here, Ryan, because if you went to Germany 20 years ago, it's not Germany as we know today. If you went to the States 20 years ago, if you went to California or New York or Texas 20 years ago, it's probably not what we are seeing right now. And when I arrived in Toronto specifically, that was the right place for me to start my new journey. But when I was in Germany, for example, that was the right place for me to be when I went to university too. The challenge is, I think, more personal than how other people perceive you. It's how comfortable you are under your own skin, and how comfortable you are being in that place where people act that way, where people tend to go in that specific direction. And then when I came to Canada, I came here because I had hope. I had so many dreams. So arriving in Toronto, well, let's say arriving in Toronto 12 years ago, that was the best place that I could possibly think of.
Talking a little bit about your current film project, The Fit Generation, and how your experiences throughout life has influenced kind of your artistic eye or vision.
Well, The Fit Generation was a passion project. That means it was self-funded. I applied for a few grants. I tried to get money from CBC, from other networks to produce it. I tried a Kickstarter campaign. It was not possible. So I had to do it. It was a story, or better, it's a compilation of 6 stories that I just had to tell. I felt the urge as a journalist to share those stories with the world because they are very inspiring, and I think any generation can learn from them. Now, let me tell you what those stories are. The Fit Generation is a documentary about active seniors here on the West Coast. There are people in their late 70s and mid 80s in the film who ski every day, for example, who run marathons. There's a woman, she is today 85 years old today. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she broke the world record in the marathon run and half marathon a few times. And
That's amazing.
She's from Richmond, BC, so basically Vancouver. And these guys, the message in the film is no matter what your problems are, you can always keep pushing forward. I started the documentary when I met my wife around the same time. And so we were dating, and that became our passion project. She helped me along this entire long 3.5-year process.
Of course.
And then my baby came along as well. We got married before the film was ready. So you see how long it took for me to finish that. But the rewards are there because we won many rewards, including Best Documentary in the London International Film Festival, in the Nice Film Festival. And we're actually making this film available now for free on YouTube.
When it comes to an immigrant coming to a place, establish yourself can be really hard, especially, trying to break into the workforce. What were some things that you use? I mean, you've been in so many different countries to help establish yourself and find success in what you're doing.
Well, I think one thing that you should always have in mind is what can I add, right? What value can I add wherever you are, even if it's in a relationship, you meet a guy or a girl that you start flirting with. You should think first, what can I do in this person's life to make her or his life better? When you arrive in a country, you should also think like that. What can they profit from welcoming me and providing me with all the benefits that an immigrant can have here? So when I arrived in Canada, I was always committed to learning more and to providing services that would, in my case, help grow companies in marketing and The main challenge is not that. That's the okay. And and the most interesting thing that I find is that the main challenge when you are an immigrant is not the weather, it's not being far from your family and friends, and it's not learning another language. It's building your network from scratch. That has been a challenge for over a decade for me, and I work on it every single day. How can I meet more people and establish connections that um, that are based on trust and mutual benefits? How can because being a journalist, as I was back in Brazil and in Germany, I knew so many people. If I needed a surgeon, a brain surgeon, I knew how to find one within a few minutes. If I needed someone who cleans windows, I knew how to call someone. I could call someone within a few minutes. And here, I came here all by myself, and it took forever to meet people because another reason is because Vancouver specifically is a very transient city. People come and go, come and go, come and go. So I had to focus on building relationships with people who are here for good, who are going to be here in 5, in 10 years. And I think, and I see that mistake that many immigrants make. They come and they only meet people who are here for a few months or for a few years, and they will be gone. So you need to adapt. You need to learn the nuances in the society, how things actually work, and try to establish connections with those people who are going to be with you for the long run.
So what's next for you? You've completed the fifth generation. What's next?
There's a few other passion projects that I would like to launch. One would be a platform for seniors. That is something that is always in the back of my mind. Oh, I need to start working on that. I would love to have a place, a community that starts with a website and maybe social media where where people in their late 60s where people in their late 60s, 70s, and 80s can go and find entertaining information, video and blog, interviews, podcasts, because people at our age, right, Ryan, you're like 18. I'm kidding.
I wish.
You're in your mid-20s. Yeah, so people in their 20s and then 30s and even 40s, I think, are so used to podcasts now. And I would love to bring that to seniors as well. So that's one of the many, many, many passion projects. And Ryan, I have lots of passion projects.
Well, it's good to keep yourself busy and, do something that you're passionate and love to do.
Being busy is one of the secrets for happiness. I talk about this with my wife all the time. Let's just stay busy. When we start worrying about stupid things, I go, why are we even thinking about it? Let's get busy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this pandemic's been a great example. If you're not keeping yourself busy, you go crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm glad I have a 1-year-old baby.
Yeah, keep yourself real busy there.
Including at night.
Yeah. Perfect. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Any advice or just stories or experiences that you'd like to share now?
This is something that I don't want to come across as someone who is bragging about it, but rather I would like this example to inspire other immigrants. When I came here 10 years ago, I had $1,500 in my pocket. So that's $1,500. And I didn't have a job. That's when I arrived. And today, only 10 years later, there is so many things that I was able to accomplish. And I chose Canada because this is the land of opportunities. And there are many things that come down to the person's mindset. Everything is possible if you have the right mindset, and you will find hundreds of reasons to not achieve any of your dreams if you have the wrong mindset. So the secret to become, let's say, a successful immigrant is only one. It is to know what you want and move in that direction. And I'll tell you why. Because when you look around 360 degrees, you could go anywhere. Once you have decided what you want to become, where you want to be, say in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, it's much easier from now on because you have established the direction where you want to head towards. So knowing what you want makes things easier, and then you only have to keep going. It's gonna rain, it's gonna snow every year. Winter is gonna be boring as hell here in Canada. You're not gonna want to talk about politics with half of the people you meet. You're not gonna like half of the things you see. That's totally fine. This is one of the best places in the world. And then we are at another point that is very important too. It's gratitude.
Elton and his wife share a daily exercise where they find something in their life they're grateful for, whether it's them sitting on the couch or going for a drive. He recently heard a saying that relates to this: when you're grateful, you can't be hateful. If you have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight, leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was You Talk, and have yourself a good one.